This is Ed Dollister.
And this is Mitch Halleck.
And welcome to episode 3 of Mitch and Ed's Excellent Adventure. Thank you so much for joining us on the past 2 episodes. We've been thrilled with all the views and also the comments and all the subscribers to our Facebook page as well. So thank you. Glad you're enjoying what we're talking about.
Yeah. I love the comments too. And we answer those, believe it or not. I saw a couple and I said, oh, it's feedback. So, it was cool. And it wasn't negative feedback. Well,
No.
The guy that said we have messy basements. I'm like, hey man, It's a set. It's to evoke. I don't know what it's supposed to evoke, but it's clutter. It's part of the show.
We'd love our viewers to go, wouldn't it be awesome to look around in their basement or study? That's what I think.
That's exactly what it is. You know what? If we did turn the camera around, I think people would be impressed, or they'd call the local authorities, one or the other. But
it's funny, if we turn the camera around, I would be seeing a whole slew of movie posters, and that's what our topic of the day is for this episode, our favorite movie posters.
Yeah, correct. I'm going to say, even as a kid, when I'd go to the movies, that was always the best part. You'd walk down these long hallways into the theater, and they would be lined with movie posters. Sometimes movies of coming attractions, like What's Coming Soon, or movies that were classic. And I always remember that. And I would just go down the hallway and look at all the different, styles and titles and all that. And just tell by the poster what movie I wanted to go see, because they didn't always have YouTube. We didn't have trailers on our phone or anything like that where we could just watch it. You just had to see an image.
Oh my gosh, it was the first time you'd go and go, oh my gosh, there's a new movie coming out of this or that or whatever.
And it was really a graphic image. I mean, it had to get your attention like that. So you'd remember, like, I want to go see that movie because I saw this picture in the hallway. You didn't know what it was about, but if it was such a good graphic, you'd remember it, That's how I used to be anyway.
Oh, absolutely. And what I really loved, and you can see from around us, the artwork that's surrounding us, these are artwork. It's artwork, really.
Oh yeah,
it?
absolutely.
It's not advertising. And I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about, how today it's all photoshopped images. And I think there's a time and a place for images for posters, because we're going to talk about our favorite movie posters. I know 1 or 2 of mine have got photos, but it's a bit of a shame. It is a little bit of a lost art now. It's not a lost art, because there's still some fantastic, Paul Schipper and Mark Ratz and all these amazing artists are still creating this artwork. It's just, it seems like the movie studios are resisting putting up hand-drawn art.
When I went to school, I originally wanted to be a comic book artist, but then I shifted into graphic design, and then I started looking at all these movie posters, and really it was the Star Wars fan club, where you used to be part of that in the 70s, and you could send away and get actual movie posters. Because if you ever read the fine print on the movie posters, really, I don't know how it is in Australia, but it says, for promotional purposes only, theater owners must destroy these materials once the movie's out of circulation or something like that. So you're not supposed to have these things when years ago, the big movie posters, because they were just meant to promote the film. They were properties of the studios, really. Yes. It was kind of like the film reels. You can't just go home. There was no VHSs. There was no iPhone movies or anything like that. These were ads, basically, for the movies. And the only people that ever had them were the folks that worked in the theater, because instead of throwing them in the trash can, they would roll them up and take them home. And so I wanted that job when I first was being a comic book artist, and then I saw the artwork. And we're going to talk about some of the people here too, but Richard Amzell, whose Raiders posters we're going to talk about. That guy, I'd see his name and the stylized way he had written his name, AM and a big S and the EL.
Yes.
I would look for his artwork. And then there was a magazine here in the States called the TV Guide. And that would have all the listings of all the television programs and such. And occasionally he would do the cover art. And he was a brilliant illustrator and a painter. So you would see, Lucille Ball, Bob Hope, Johnny Carson, all these classic portraits. And I was like, that's that guy with the name with the ASL, because it would ring a bell. And it was just fantastic. And like you said, there was no Photoshop. in the 80s and 70s, maybe towards the end of the 80s. So I went to school to learn to be an illustrator, and then Photoshop had to come along at around 87, 88. And I remember one of our professors talking to us about it and said, hey guys, this is going to kill the illustration business, because the reason why the studios went towards that, it's cheaper, it's faster. You didn't have to expend money on an expensive artist to come up with a design. You would just take a photograph of the actor and slap it onto a big graphic and put the name. And you can start to see the progression in the 80s when it started stepping away from illustrated posters and started going more to that photo realistic, to nowadays where, other than, like you mentioned, Mark Ratz, and you'll occasionally get some by Drew Struzan, who came out of a retirement here and there. A lot of them are just manipulated in Photoshop. They'll even have filters that make it look like it was, painted with a paintbrush, but it's not. It's really just the photograph, and you can find the reference photos, and you're like, hey, wait a minute. This is the picture where that guy took that from, and all he did was change the light source or something. So it is a bit of a lost art. There's still some guys that can still do it, but on the whole, I'd say 80%, 90% are done in Photoshop.
And I suppose I get it. I can understand that, but I think for some sort of films, like for potentially a rom-com or look, an Adam Sandler movie or something like that, I think fair enough. But for a big rollicking adventure, or like that's why I feel like with we're sort of off on tangents.
We're off topic a bit, but yeah.
But like for the last for the Rise of Skywalker and all that. I'm sure Mr. Struzan, who we've had as a guest on our show, number, he was on episode 250 of the IndieCast. He's a rock star amongst, he's the John Williams of movie poster, artists. It's I don't know why they didn't use him for, the last.
Well,
the last
it
film.
could be I think he actually said, I don't know if I can't remember if they asked him or they didn't ask him or whatever, because I know he did a graphic for a D23, which is the Disney fan convention in August. And they came out with a graphic for, I'm going to say Force Awakens, was it?
It could have been, or was it? Yeah.
I don't think it was Last Jedi. I think it was that one.
I'll put up an image.
Yeah, but that was the last time I think he did any of the Star Wars. Now, he did all the prequel posters, and then when they did the special editions in the mid-90s, he did all those as well.
Yep.
And so it was really, I was hoping he was going to do all the new sequels, the Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker, because it's an OCD thing. It's a completist. You want to have them all lined up. And I have all my, the walls here in the, whatever you want to call this place, the man cave, all my favorite movies. And then I would rotate them out and have themes. And at one point, when the prequels were out, I had all the Star Wars special editions, 4, 5, and 6. And then we had 1, 2, and 3. And it just felt cool. You walk downstairs and go, look at that. It's a whole 6-movie epic saga. And there's Drew Struzan, and he's the common thread, just like John Williams, like you mentioned. He brings it all together.
Yep.
And thank God with the Indiana Jones movies, it started with Temple of Doom. He did The Last Crusade. And when they did the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, he did one of the advanced posters, and then he did another version. But it kept that continuity.
Yeah.
And then, in fact, they liked him so much that when they did the Indiana Jones paperback novels that are over there, he was the artist for all that. And Harrison Ford really liked Drew Struzan because he said, oh, you're the guy, because he knew the way Harrison Ford would look, and he always had the features, because Harrison Ford's got a very unique face. He's got like the crooked nose.
That's right, the scar.
It's a little asymmetric face. It's not, perfect Hollywood stuff. And he just nails it. Every time you see an Indiana Jones image and it's Drew Struzan,
it's a dead ringer. He's amazing.
In fact, I'm looking at the Indiana Jones Adventure for Temple of the Forbidden Eye from Disneyland. It's right over there. And that's it. It's a Drew Struzan Harrison Ford poster. It's hanging up right over there in front of me. Well, but anyway, we digress.
Yeah, that's okay. I was going to say, let's talk our favorite. We have got our top 3 favorite film. It's again, this is really hard to do because there's
Yeah.
so many favorites, and I'm surrounded again by posters on my walls. You know, that's obviously a
Yep.
good indicator that you like the artwork, but we didn't want this to be a 3 hour. We're going to try and make this a
We
25
could.
minute. In fact,
Yeah.
oh my gosh,
We're already fit. We're
I
done.
know
We're done. You know what? We could always come back. Maybe we'll do genres next time. We'll do this or that. But today's the first
yeah.
pitch. We're going to tell you what our 3 favorite movie posters
And
are
we've got
of
some
all
runners
time.
up as well. So I'll go first if that's okay. So my
Go
favorite,
ahead.
and I've got a feeling it's your favorite as well because it's sitting right behind you, is the fantastic Richard Amsel reissue of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
While I love the original poster, which I actually remember from the novelization. I think, was it Campbell Black?
Campbell Black did it. There was 2 covers.
Yes.
He did the second cover. I mean, this image is on the second version of the novelization.
That's right, because Steranko was on wasn't he on the cover?
No, it's over there. If I had known we were going to do this, I'd go grab it.
Mine's here.
No, the one I have, the original Raiders of the Lost Ark movie novelization, is a photograph of Harrison Ford and Karen Allen from the Raven Bar, where she has him by the lapels and she's pulling him in to kiss him. That's what's on the cover of my book. And then when the movie came out, it was a hit. They did a second printing and they changed it to the Richard Amsel movie poster.
And I know that it had the shiny
foil, foil cover, they call it. It was a shiny blue, or shiny red.
Yep.
And I think there was a shiny green. And because I remember there's 3 versions of that book. And back in the day, when they couldn't sell the novels, what they would do is they would rip the covers off the books and they would send the covers back to the publisher and they'd get credit for it. They'd say, hey, we ordered 25 copies of this book, we only sold 12, we want our money back. And the thing is, they'd have to destroy the books, so they would then take the books and then sell them for like a quarter or a nickel. And because I remember there would be bins of books without covers on them, and they were like 5 cents, but the book was still there. And I remember I was so mad because they had torn the cover off of Raiders of the Lost Ark. I'm like, that was the best part of that book, was the cover of the artwork, But that's the first poster.
I did read that book over and over and over, and there is something about Richard Amsel's artwork that it's stylized, but it gets to the heart and the soul of every character whatever the film is. I know a good friend of from the IndieCast, Adam McDaniel's working on a documentary on Richard Amsel's life. It's worth checking out, and he's got he can talk a lot better than we can about his work. But I just love this, and what I love about it, it's got that the Return of the Great Adventure, but it is that serial, and it's got all the main characters, all the main scenes. It's wonderful.
And you know what? It's on my list too, because I remember when you and I talked about getting our 3 posters, I said, well, I know you're going to have one. We don't do a show called the IndieCast for 12 or 13 years about Indiana Jones without, you had to have it as part of the deal. Yeah. But the reason why, I mean, I love this poster. This is the one I got from the Star Wars fan club. I remember sending away $7.50. I got 2 of them. This one I mounted, the other one's still rolled upstairs. And that was the thing too about movie posters. It was hard to get the rolled ones. You wanted those without creases or folds in it because they look great. Because what would happen is the way they were printed, it's like almost like a clayish kind of ink. And if they cracked, when they folded it, you'd have that white line, and nothing would drive me crazier than you'd see this big white line down the center image or across, because it would be folded up into 4s.
Yep.
And I have some posters, like I have a lot of movie posters. Let's just say that before it was fashionable or it was easy to get to, there was a couple mail order companies here in the United States besides the Star Wars fan club. There was Jerry Allinger's, which was based out of Brooklyn, New York. They had everything. They had movie posters. They had scripts. They would have these things called lobby cards. I don't know if you remember cards.
I've got the Superman 2 ones. Yes.
Those were 11 by 17 or 8 by 10. Sometimes the 8 by 10s black and white, and the color ones were 11 by 17. And they would be photographs instead of movie posters. Sometimes they would put photographs in a display case of an upcoming film,
Yep.
and it would have different scenes from that movie. So you'd have like the hero, the heroine, and stuff like that. So Jerry Ollinger's, I used to get so many. Yep, that's one right there. It would tell you
Yep.
the title of the movie, and they'd have a scene from the picture.
Yep.
I would get so much of that movie memorabilia. And then there was another place out in Dearborn, Michigan called Cinema City. And these things were expensive. I don't know about how it was out there, but I remember as a kid saving up my money, and it seems like nothing now, but it was like $25 or $30. And then what they did with movie posters is they'd have variants. They'd have like the style A, which was the first poster,
Yes.
and then style B. And then we'll talk about one of the styles because it makes sense in a second. If a movie ran for 6 months, 7 months, or a year, they would constantly give you new artwork for the movie theaters because the original poster, if it was outside, the sun had faded it, it got old looking. So they'd come out with a new graphic or they'd reissue it. And that's what that Raiders poster is that we're talking about. This is not the one that came out in 1981.
No.
This is the reissue
from
1982. Yeah, they sent Raiders out again, and they gave us that new poster. And the other thing, I don't know about you when it comes to that poster, the reason why I love that one so much is because it actually emotes how fun the movie is. Because you see Indiana Jones, that's not really in the film. He's not in the movie smiling as he's doing the whip. It's kind of a little wink, wink, nod, nod. But it's so cool because in that one poster, you see the confident hero. He's got the whip above his head. He's got the swagger and stuff. It just screams, look how cool this guy is. Yep. And then, like you said, you've got the Nazis on the corner. You've got the damsel in distress. You got Karen Allen. Then you've got the Ark of the Covenant. Everything you need to know about Raiders Lost Ark is in that one freaking poster. I mean, the whole movie is right there. It's like you can look at that and somehow you know what this 2-hour adventure movie is going to be. Just
and that's what a good poster does. It just pulls you in and go, I want to see this film. So it's a worthy addition. And that's like the poster that's behind me there. That's up in our living room of all things. So it's because it's a fantastic poster, and all his work is.
I think in my opinion, it's a better poster than the original one, which granted is also a classic, but that one is so serious. That was almost scary. When I saw that in the theaters when I was a kid, they had a giant cardboard display of that poster in the lobby. It was like 7 feet by 8 feet. It was a big cutout of Harrison Ford and I wanted that so bad to have in my room. I'm like, can I own that? What, I don't know where they are now, but it was so cool. But he's so dead serious. That Indiana Jones picture. I mean, it's just like no joke, it's just like, I'm going to kill you, that type of thing. Or that one again just screams, this is a good time. So anyway, Raiders Lost Ark reissue, that's on both of our lists. So what's your number 2, Ed?
My number 2 is a Star Wars poster, and I'm surrounded by Star Wars posters. I've got a pretty shonky one behind me from the Star Wars trilogy, a photo and things like that. I've got Empire, Jedi. I've got 2 of the different styles here, but it's a nostalgic favorite of mine is the Hildebrandt brothers Star Wars poster.
Yeah.
It was made in 36 hours after George Lucas thought the original by, I think, Tom Young was
Tom Young,
was too dark. Too dark. So they created this, and I know it doesn't really look like Luke or Leia. But there's something about it. I'll put it up so you can have a look at it on the big screen. But something about it just says 1970s sci-fi, and that's what I just fell in love with. The position and everything. It's amazing.
I was gonna say I have a smaller version of it around the corner, signed by the 2 brothers too. One of them, gosh. Tim passed away a couple years back, but Greg is still out there. He's still making artwork. In fact, he's come to my Terrificon last year. He was there. He and his wife, delightful people. I sat there. I had a stack of because he also does comic book covers too. And I was like, could you sign these? And he's like, yeah, sure. And he just wonderful guy, great stories. We talked about everything. And then I learned a lot because, I went to school for art and design, but he talks about how he uses the color purple a lot. If you go to look at a lot of his posters, he did a lot of Lord of the Rings graphics. He did some Star Wars books too, Shadows of the Empire. He and his brother, they always had this certain palette. and there's a lot of oranges, a lot of reds, and magenta and purple and all that. But that Star Wars poster, yeah, Leia never looked like the one that you saw originally. You know, Carrie Fisher, that was like an Italian. It looked like Sophia Loren's body, and
Yep.
it slapped on her face. She was a little too voluptuous, and Luke was a little too beefcakey to be Mark Hamill.
But I think, like, if you look at the original card, hang on,
yeah,
there.
there it is. Yeah, right there it is. Yep, right over there.
So that is, I think, the like the first pass of the artwork by the Hildebrandt brothers.
Yeah.
Whereas the poster we sort of know is the second take on it. I think that's sort of why it harkens back to why I love it so much, is because I remember it from the figures. My seventh or eighth, probably my 8th birthday party that I had. I've still got the invites which had that artwork. You know,
Oh,
you're
really?
invited to a Star Wars party. I'll dig them.
Nice.
Hang on a second, actually.
Oh, he's gonna go find it.
Oh.
This is vintage Ed Dollister birthday party stuff.
So there's a card. There's the
yeah, look at that. Was it a tablecloth? Yeah.
And there's a card, and you can
yeah, there it is. That's it. Yep.
There we go. So,
and that was I'm gonna say, was that on the record album? The soundtrack. It was.
No, that was just the title. That was just
no, but I know that poster. I bought that poster in a record store.
Okay.
It didn't have the titles and the graphics as the movie poster, but they did sell that separately.
I just love it. It just, says everything.
It's on the Art of Star Wars book. That's over there. It's a Star Wars book. It's called The Art of Star Wars. I believe it has the script in it, or it just has some of the pre-production stuff, but that's the cover. It has that graphic. So I knew that. But all right.
What's your second one?
Well, amazingly, it's Star Wars, because long before Indiana Jones, Star Wars was it. I mean, that was, my 77, the whole world changed. I used to just go to a movie. If your mom or dad wants to take you to a movie, you're like, yeah, all right. And King Kong was cool. And we saw that in the theaters. And, but it was just a movie. You'd see another one, like Disney would have stuff, but you never really thought much about it after you saw it. Then 77 comes along. And then you said Star Wars. Now, my favorite, I'm going to move Baby Yoda out of the way. Goodbye, Baby Yoda.
Our ratings are going down now. Quick, put him back.
Wait. The ratings are going back up now. Baby Yoda's in the scene. It's this one here. And again, this one here. And it's a weird thing that we talked about Drew Struzan, because he plays a part in some of this too. And I don't want to drive everybody crazy. Maybe put a graphic up of it. But this one hangs here in the Mitch cave. And that is what they call the circus poster of Star Wars. And if you can see that there, what it's designed to look like is, if you were in a galaxy far, far away, this would be a poster that's hanging on the wall, because you can see there's a torn Obi-Wan Kenobi poster hanging there, maybe like a wanted poster, and they actually drew in wrinkles and like stains on the actual image as if it was up there and it's been weathered and weather beaten. And then you got Luke. And you got, now that looks like Mark Hamill. That looks like Carrie Fisher. Those are good reference photos. There's Harrison Ford. They threw him in there. The droids are in there. We've got Vader. Everything you could possibly want. We've got Chewie stuff. I mean, literally, just like the Raiders poster that I like so much. This is called the circus style poster, because it's supposed to look like when the circus came to town. And that's what it was. But that's my second favorite poster of all time. And it's a lot like what you were talking about, because it's got purples. It's got a certain palette to it. It doesn't change a lot. It's got blue, purple, and a little gold and yellow, and that's about it. And it just keeps the composition together. It's not even the traditional Star Wars logo. It's not the type that we know either. And again, just like that poster, you see this, it looks like it's going to be a fun ride. It looks like I want to go see that. They're swinging on a rope. They've got blasters going. They've got space. They've got. It's amazing. This graphic here. Not to say that the other Star Wars posters aren't fantastic, but that one to me is like the epitome of a cool Star Wars poster.
Well, to me, it looks like the from the Errol Flynn films from the 1930s with Olivia Havilland. It evokes.
Well, it looks like a cereal. That's what Star Wars was supposed to be, like a Flash Gordon cereal, and this kind of gives that feel like something you'd see in the 40s in a movie lobby somewhere, you know?
Not to be confused with Batman cereal.
No. By the way, if we did get our 2,000 people.
Oh, it's gone up to 2,000 now, has it? It was
Oh,
originally.
I'm sorry. Is it 1,000? Well,
Having
not
second thoughts.
Not that I don't want to commit gastronic suicide by eating 1989 Batman cereal, but I made a promise. If we subscribe,
yep,
Uncle Mitchie eats this cereal. Anyway, that's
all
my
right.
poster.
That's a good
Two.
choice.
We got 2 Raiders and 2 Star Wars. Come on, Ed, we got to change it up a little bit.
My third one is one that I only recently got, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. There's different. We were talking about different poster styles, and I know that Chris A from the IndieCast was talking about the giant quad posters that they have in the UK.
Yeah.
I've actually got. Oh, I don't have it here. Oh, maybe I do. You can see in the background here. See that giant poster?
Yeah.
Okay,
it's like a
so
bus
that
stop poster.
Is it's French.
Yep.
Okay, and that would have been posted on the side of under a bridge or something like that.
Yeah.
So there's all different sizes of posters. In Australia, we have a thing called the Australian Day Bill, and this here is an example of a classic.
Oh God, would that be the Gene Kelly, Olivia Newton-John?
It would be
roller skating movie.
It would be, but this is not my favorite poster. I'm just illustrating.
Yeah, no, they're long and skinny. I think they're like 11 inches by 36 or so, or whatever.
Yep. So anyway, and I actually had the Richard Amsel Raiders first one of that, which I has still got in my study out the back, which has been eaten sadly by moths. It's because it looks like a relic from an Indiana Jones adventure. But my favorite day bill is the Superman the movie poster. I've got it up here. I can't take it off my wall because it's a bit hard, but I'll put a graphic up. It's the one with basically Superman in almost 3D flying up above Metropolis, and you've got a picture of Marlon Brando, and you've got a picture of Gene Hackman in it, and it just says NRC. This is the Australian version of it. I found
I don't think I've seen that. Yeah. So
I've picked up a framed copy of it in a market. I was looking and I go, oh my gosh, I have to buy this regardless of how much it costs. And it actually wasn't, it was quite reasonable.
I was going to say the Superman one that we had here, because I have a reproduction of it somewhere, not hanging up, was just the crest, the Superman, the shield, the S, in the clouds with kind of like a reddish yellow thing coming out.
I'm going to do something here that I don't normally do, but.
No, it's not that. It's
not that one. And this is the one I'm talking about there. Can you see it on the side there?
Yeah, it's right in the middle of the between Star Wars and Superman. That's the poster? I've never seen that before.
That's a Mylar poster. So let me just
oh no, not the big S one. I'm talking about the one you showed there with Superman flying out towards it. That's the one you said you like.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, no, I've never seen that here. That's not a United States release.
Well,
now the Superman poster itself was a Mylar. That was really hard to come by.
I did manage to get one of those. And I don't think that was I've got a feeling the one that I got was essentially one that you can buy from a shop or something like that. A movie version. But I do have that one next to it because I love, I'll take a proper photo of that and put that up as well. But I don't know. It's just something about it. And actually that Superman logo was really the first poster, I think, when you think of superhero movie posters of the day today,
right.
They often bring out, the logo, it's Captain Shield or it's, the Bat logo or something like that.
Yeah.
Now, that was a precursor. Again, Superman the movie. It's the granddaddy of all superhero movies.
Everybody knew what that S was. Yeah, but you're right. Yes. That's all you saw in the picture. I don't think I ever saw a graphic with Superman on until Superman 2.
Okay, yes.
All the original Superman posters were all just the S, just variations of the S. Like, it said the tagline was, "You'll believe a man can fly."
Yes.
Christmas 1978. That was it. That's all we saw.
Or
So
Superman 2, The Adventure Continues, 1980.
1981.
80.
Anyway,
Anyway.
now the third one is I realized I sent you a graphic, and I don't know why, but I had two Raiders. Actually, I like all the Raiders Lost Ark posters, but the Italian one, which is the size, I had it when I was a kid hanging up, but I've never been able to do it before. It is about 4 feet wide by 8 feet long, and it's not called a quad. That's a British type of thing, but
Yes.
this is something that would be on the side of a building. And the paper is so thin, it's easily torn. And I got it from Italy when I was over in Europe, and the name of Raiders over there was, I'm going to say it right, Il Predatore della Arca, the Predators of the Ark della Lost. It's the Ark that is lost. I can't remember right now, but that was the thing. And the only reason why I thought it was really cool, and again, I'm going to say it's Drew Struzan, not Richard Amsdell.
Mm-hmm.
It's again a bluish purple color, but there's Harrison Ford standing there with his whip, but Karen Allen was in it. And, Karen Allen, Animal House, East of Eden, Raiders Lost Ark, she was my heartthrob. That was like it. When I met her, I've met her twice. It's kind of like, hi, how are you? You're my heartthrob as a kid. I had such a crush on Karen Allen. The restraining order is still in place. She lives right up near me in Massachusetts, but she's such a delight. But she was on that poster, and she looked so damn sexy. She's standing behind Harrison Ford and got her arms on her hips, and she's got the outfit she was wearing inside the Raven bar. But that was also there. But that's not the one I picked for the third one.
Okay.
My greatest poster, and it's hanging up underneath one of these, but I don't want to take it down off the wall. It's The Rocketeer.
Yep.
It's the Rocketeer poster. Again, it's a Disney movie. It came out in 1991. It was based on a comic book. I love the comic book. I love the artwork. It was all set in the 30s. But the poster, and we show a picture of it, it's got this Art Deco 30s style of the Rocketeer flying up into the air. And it looks like something you would see if you were in the 30s and walking around Manhattan and you went to the Empire State Building or something. It's just a great poster. It's very simple. It just says The Rocketeer in June 1991. And that's it. That's all. There's no graphics. There's no words. There's no titles. There's no actors' names. It's just that image with the name and the date. And the movie didn't do so well.
No,
I mean, it came out.
And I was just thinking that back, because that poster that you've chosen is beautifully done. And I do remember the poster that came after that, which was just the photos of Billy Campbell and all those. And it had the Rocketeer in yellow, done like a Raiders of the Lost Ark style. It's a shame that film didn't do. I remember seeing it going, this is great. This is like a companion piece to an indie film.
It does. They could be on a double bill, the Nazi fighting action, Saturday matinee. But I think it didn't do well because I do believe that graphic probably worked against it because nobody knows what a Rocketeer is.
Yeah.
You see that image, you think it might be a robot. It doesn't tell you it's set in the 30s. It doesn't tell you he's fighting the Nazis or any of that stuff. It really doesn't tell you anything about the movie. Mm-hmm. So I think that didn't help the marketing of it. And that's probably, I'm not going to say that's why it did bad, but I'll send, next time we're together, I'll show you this. I actually liked the movie. I really enjoyed it. I can't think of it. Timothy Dalton is the bad guy. He was just coming off of the James Bond movies.
Neville Sinclair, I believe.
Neville Sinclair, yeah. Jennifer Connelly, forget Karen Allen. Once I saw Jennifer Connelly, that was my new love. Billy Campbell, Alan Arkin, Paul Sorvino. There's such a great cast in there. Terry O'Neill as Howard Hughes. It's a great movie, but it didn't do well. And I remember it's directed by Joe Johnston, who worked on the Raiders movies, who made Captain America and a bunch of other movies. And it just didn't do well. And I was so mad about it because I loved the comic so much. I actually wrote a letter when you could write letters back in the day. And I don't know what I was thinking of. Jeffrey Katzenberger, before he became part of DreamWorks with Spielberg and Geffen, I wrote him a letter. I was at my office, should have been working, but I just typed a letter on my computer, said, "Dear Jeffrey, I saw the film. Here's what went wrong with the movie." And I don't know why I did. Early critic. I told him this fell flat and the music wasn't good here. And this should have been the scene where the whole audience was applauding, but it just like a rock. It didn't work. And here's why. And I just literally, for some reason, told him why I thought the movie didn't do well. Who the hell am I? A month later, I still have the letter. Comes on Disney stationery, because at the time he was in charge of Walt Disney, from the desk of Jeffrey Katzenberg. And he answered my letter point for point. He said, oh, you talked about Timothy Dalton. Here's what I think about this. You talked about the music not working in this scene. Here's why I think this. He actually responded. So I'm thinking, who has less or more free time on their hands? Me for writing the letter, or the head of Disney Studios for taking the time and writing me back? And he went point for point. It's a 2 or 3 page letter. He explained why he thought the movie was a success and why I didn't agree, or he didn't agree with my view. And it's signed at the end, Jeffrey Katzenberg, and it's official stationery. So I was like, wow, he must think what a jerk this guy is to write to me. I kind of felt bad that he took the time out to write to me, but it's weird. It's one of those things that I actually, have in my box of autographs.
That's pretty cool. But that's good that he obviously was quite passionate about it. You're passionate about it. And if you haven't watched it, it's on Disney Plus in
Oh, it is, yeah. There's
HD.
actually a new cartoon. There's a sequel to it.
I heard that with a girl, a Rocketeer, who I don't know the details.
It's like the granddaughter of the Rocketeer, and Billy Campbell does the voice of Cliff Secord. He's
That's pretty cool.
Fella. It is. I mean, but it's not the sequel that I was hoping for. I was always hoping that they were going to do one of the 50s. And it was going to be with the communists and the race to the moon and all that type of stuff. And somehow somebody finds the rocket pack, and he comes out of retirement and
don't give them out. Don't quick right to Bob Iger. He's back in the chair again, I think. So you can.
Well, you know who was going to do it of all people? Thomas Jane, the actor. He's a huge Rocketeer fan.
He's the Punisher, wasn't he?
He's the Punisher in one movie. He's also Mickey Mantle. He's been in a lot of movies.
I confuse him with Aaron Eckhart all the time.
They do look alike, but he's a huge Rocketeer fan, and I heard that he was also trying to get a sequel off the ground to be in the movie.
Let's get him on the show. We should have a chat to him.
I met him at a Comic-Con in Boston about 7 years ago. He's an interesting character. Maybe I'll get him to my show one day.
There you go.
But anyway, that's my poster: Rocketeer, Star Wars, and Indiana Jones. I mean, and there's a lot more. I even got the Blues Brothers behind me, but.
Well, I'll quickly do my top.
That's my runner-up.
My 3 runners-up. That's your runners-up.
Not a great graphic, but this is kind of the start of the photo stuff we talked about.
Yeah.
Where you just see the actors, and all it says is they'll never get caught. They're on a mission from God. And Carrie Fisher's in this too. The reason why this is up there is I wanted this poster, but I didn't have the money for it. So I wrote to the poster company, and I said, how much is it? Do you have this Blues Brothers poster? And they wrote back to me. They said it's like $30. And this is 1980, and $30 was like $500. So I didn't have it. And it just showed up like 4 or 5 months later. And I don't know if my dad bought it. And to this day, I never know the true origin, or my mom did. It just showed up. It was folded. And I opened it up, and there was the Blues Brothers poster. And I'm like, did they get confused at the place? Did they think I had ordered it? Or did my mom and dad send a check and buy it for me? No one's ever confessed where it came from. But I own it. I just don't know how I got it. That's all. It was a miracle. It was a miracle from
God.
High.
That's right.
So anyway, that's my other runner-up. But go ahead.
I've got 3 runners-ups. I've got my Del Nichols, my Del Nichols posters below from the giveaways. They were at the
those are kind of tie-ins though. Those aren't really, you're skirting the edge there. They're not movie posters, Ed.
Well,
not one.
All right. My other one that's in our living room is the Saturday Night Fever poster, which again is a photo. Yep. And again, what do you do when the record is over? It pretty much tells the story of the entire film, and it's just
with the disco ball.
Yeah, such a striking image. And the last one is the Tom Chantrell Star Wars poster with them all. You know that one.
That was the one where they're all running out at you.
It's pretty much like that, yeah. Which that's looking.
That was a reissue
in front of me. Yeah, I love that one.
I think that was maybe style C. It's got the white edges to it.
Yeah.
It's
I've got
it's a
that one.
lot like this. Yeah, they all
Yes.
have their guns. Han and Luke and Leia, they're all
Yep.
coming out at you.
So I'll put up
All
a
right.
photo of each of those, and I do have. I mean, I've got others. I had
Another one? Come on,
always.
man.
I know.
All right, you're gonna keep. I'm gonna start throwing mine out too. But go
Always.
ahead. What's the other one?
I had. Well, one I had a beautiful. It was the dark blue Empire Strikes Back poster, not the
Gone with the Wind style.
one. I'm
Where they're
trying to,
kissing each other. That one.
I think so. Yeah, and Luke was, looking, pointing. He was not front and center really, but
He's on the tauntaun off to the side.
no, he was pointing his blaster at you. I'll find it. And the other one which I've got, which is sadly wrecked a little bit.
You know what I think? Go back. I think was there a picture of Luke standing on his head too?
Oh, maybe I'll have
because there was a Coca-Cola giveaway, just like your posters back there, by Boris
Vigello,
yeah, Vallejo, whatever. Yes,
that
was one. I remember my grandfather was working there. He had retired, and he had a part-time job at the movie theater, and he got me that poster that hung above my bed for in 1980 because the artwork was so beautiful on that.
Let me see if I can find it here. I've got a photo. I don't just usually leave photos of myself lying around.
That's what.
Oh no, I don't have it here, but I'll show you this picture. This is me in my room, and you can see.
There's Indiana Jones. There's Indiana, yeah. I had those posters. Yeah.
I've got Ewok's Caravan of Courage.
I have that too. Don't laugh.
Yep.
I have both of them. The Ewok Adventure and that.
Yep.
Thank you, Star Wars Fan Club.
I will scan that in and I'll put a proper picture up of that. But the other one was I had the poster of the Star Wars triple bill for the first time.
Oh, yes, the English one.
I assume it's basically just. I think it's silver. It's got red title at the top. Back for the first time in cinemas or whatever. And
but it's got all
writing. It's got
right,
all three films, and it's got a picture of Darth Vader. Yeah.
But it rectangular?
It's huge. Yeah, it's a rectangle.
Yeah, but it's not this shape. It's if you turn it on its side, right?
No, it's I'll have to
Is it by Thomas Noble, that artist?
It could be.
Okay.
Unfortunately, because I had pinned it in and it's all torn and everything, but that's a favorite of mine. So
no, it might be the one. If it's the one I'm thinking of, I have that one it's a reprint. It's not the real deal. And I took that with me to conventions when I was younger, and I got that signed by Peter Mayhew, Chewbacca, Warwick Davis, Wicket, Kenny Baker, Dave Prowse, Jeremy Bullock. I was taking that around to shows, and I was getting all their signatures on it. Yeah, but the thing of it is, it was such a to carry that to a convention is a pain because you got to keep it in the tube and you got to take it out, and they got to sign it, they got to roll it back up, and eventually. Is cool of an idea, and I admire those people that have those autograph posters where they have every single cast member. What a project that must be to take that around from show to show to show to show. So, Anyway, that's not on my list, but it's a good one there.
Well, Ed, that's pretty much it for our look back at movie posters. What I would recommend you also do is do a Google search, look up Paul Schipper, Drew Struzan, Mark Ratz, is Robert Moore, is a fantastic, there's Joe Caroni.
Joe Caroni, I was just thinking Matt Bush, who is a great artist. You did a lot of
There are so many amazing, artists out there, and it's a shame that we don't see more of these movie posters done in that art style, but who knows? Maybe.
No, but you know what? There's a lot of offshoots like Mondo prints. I don't know if that happens down there. And then there's another one. Bottleneck galleries. There's a lot of smaller galleries that do limited edition runs of classic movies, like Jaws, Close Encounters, Star Wars. I mean, there's so many beautiful Star Wars. Yeah, right there. There's so many beautiful Star Wars posters. We didn't even talk about the Star Trek posters by Bob Peake. He used to do great pictures as well, with great imagery.
There's a whole nother episode. How are we going? Oh my gosh, we're almost.
We're way over again.
Oh
my gosh. We tried, people. We said we're going to keep it short and to the point, but we have so much fun doing this stuff. That's why we do the show,
and we appreciate you watching and and enjoying and, getting in the conversation. Remember,
Send
if you do
send
have,
your stuff over.
yeah,
I mean, I don't know if they can include graphics on the comments or
I
just
don't
shoot
think
us
they
an
can,
email.
but certainly talk,
The
talk to us.
Facebook page.
Yeah. What's your favorite movie poster? Do you agree with us? Are we totally way off base? They're probably saying, how could you not include this? Or how could you not include that? Well,
I know subtly some people think The Godfather is a classic movie poster. And all it is if you look at it, it's a marionette graphic in the title.
Yep.
Because he's the master manipulator. He controls everything. And I believe the poster was a shot of Marlon Brando. It's just his hands petting a cat.
I'll put it up, but I think it's just
the words.
A photo of him. Yeah.
Yeah. And I never thought that was I don't think that's a great poster. I was like, okay, well, what am I supposed to get? The Shining is another one people like, the poster. Mm-hmm. It's just really words on it. And then they've got that, here's Johnny graphic.
Watch it. Your Star Wars is moving.
I know it's moving. It's on my elbow. No, again, it's a matter of taste.
Yeah.
All the stuff is your opinion and matter of taste. We're no experts on this stuff too, but there's so many more Back to the Future posters. Most of them are all Drew Struzan posters. So
they are.
That goes to tell you something. I'm surprised you didn't pick the Muppets. You love the Muppets.
Well, I do.
And Amzell did the Great Muppet Caper, didn't he? Or Muppets Take Manhattan?
He did the Muppet movie, I thought, didn't he?
Oh, was that the one in the 70s?
I think so.
Yeah. I can't believe you didn't pick that.
Well, I suppose because I love it, and I've got my,
You got Kermit right there.
I do. I've got Kermit here, but
I've got his illegitimate child over here.
Oh, there they go. The numbers are going up.
The ratings are going up again. Baby Yoda's on the show. Yeah.
I think that's what we should have you dressed as in the next episode, whatever that will be. So
it might be.
All right.
Okay, so that's it. That's all we have right now.
That's it. So again, thank you for listening and watching the show. If you like the show, please tell your friends. Let them know. Share, spread the word. What does Joe Stuber usually share the love? Doesn't he?
No, share the lair, but we don't have a lair.
That's okay.
We have an excellent adventure. If they want to jump on board our excellent, it's no bogus trip. We'll tell you that. No bogus journey.
That's right.
Did the lawyers call yet? Are they on the phone yet? Have we got the cease and desist?
That's right, but we might have to face the music. Is that what their next one is? Bill and Ted?
No, that was that movie with Bruce Jenner, wasn't it?
No, that's Can't Stop the Music. There's another great movie.
Oh, well, that's, right there. And then there's the Flash Gordon movie posters.
I've got one around the corner signed by Sam Jones. Thanks to you. That is, again, we could go on, and we usually do, but that's all right. So
that's by Alex Ross. He's another great painter.
Oh, he is. He's fantastic.
Yes, he is.
There's so many.
We have to turn this off. People have to go watch other YouTube videos.
I know.
They should go watch our other episodes.
Please
if they haven't done it already.
This is the third one in the can. I know most people probably think that's where it should belong.
This cereal's not going to eat itself, kids. Okay?
It might just eat itself. You never know.
I think it might come to life,
That's right. Just like that razor stubble. Anyway, I'm Ed Dollister.
I'm Mitch Halleck.
And you've been watching Mitch and Ed's Excellent Adventure. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.